Your associate attorney just walked into your office, sat down across from you, and asked for a raise. And not gently. She wants more money or she's leaving. Does that make you break out in a cold sweat? So what do? Give in? Stand your ground? Defer and delay and hope the whole thing goes away? Well, today you're going to learn the exact framework for handling that conversation with class and confidence. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Lawyer Millionaire Podcast, the show where law firm owners learn to build wealth, scale their firms, and design the life of freedom they deserve. Hosted by Darren Wurz, business and wealth advisor for law firm owners and author of The Lawyer Millionaire, this podcast delivers the strategies and inspiration you need to break free from the grind and become the financial success you envision. Let's dive in.
Hey friend, I'm glad you're here today on the Lawyer Millionaire Podcast. I'm your host, Darren Wurz. So let me ask you something. How did you decide what to pay your last hire? Did you run the numbers? Did you check a salary survey? Or did you just kind of guess? Or maybe you asked ChatGPT. Well, how about everybody else on your team? Are your most productive attorneys also your highest paid? Or is it more of a random smorgasbord of salaries where some people are overpaid, some people are underpaid, and nobody, including you, could really explain why? And here's the big one. When somebody asks you for a raise, what's your strategy? Do you give them the cold stare, the silent treatment? Do you haggle like you're standing at the antique mall on a Saturday morning? Without a clear system in place, you will find yourself lost in the sea of salary confusion, where the rules are all made up and the points don't matter. To borrow a phrase from Whose Line Is It Anyway? So today we're answering one question. How do you know what to pay your people and when to give them a raise? Here's the big idea. A transparent, clearly defined pay scale is the solution to navigating these waters. Build it once, and you'll never have to wing one of these conversations again. Now, why does this matter so much? Well, let me tell you. According to Greg Crabtree in Simple Numbers, labor productivity is your second most important KPI. After gross profit, it's the single biggest determinant of your firm's profitability, especially as you grow. The productivity you get out of every dollar you spend on labor has more impact on your bottom line than almost anything else you do. So paying your people fairly and incentivizing them around productivity is not a soft, feel-good HR exercise. It's actually the core to running a profitable business. And this becomes especially critical the moment you cross the $1 million revenue mark. Because at that point, you enter something that we call the black hole. That's the danger zone between 2 and 5 million in revenue, where you have to start adding real labor infrastructure. The C-suite, the management layer, the people who don't bill but who make the whole machine run. This is exactly where a sloppy pay structure starts quietly strangling your profit. And there's a middle ground between paying too much and paying too little. Getting it right is the difference between a profitable firm and an unprofitable one, in many cases. It's also the difference between a team that's motivated and trusts you and a team that's distrustful and checked out. Underpay and you get high turnover, lost productivity, and a firm that constantly struggles to keep up. But a firm that pays well, strategically, can get by with fewer people and be more profitable. It is a delicate balance. So let's talk about how you strike that balance. Here are the specifics. Number 1, establish a pay scale for each track in your business. A track is a career path. You may have an attorney track that runs from first-year associate all the way up to equity partner. You may have a support track that runs from assistant to senior paralegal. You might have an operations track, a marketing track. Map them out. And don't overcomplicate it. Start with just a few. But every role in your firm should live on a track, and every track should have clear rungs on the ladder. Second, determine the salary range for each position. What is the market-based wage for each role? Not what you feel like paying, not what the last person was paid, the market. Use salary surveys. Talk to your peers. Get real numbers. And figure out total compensation, not just base salary, at each level within the track. Third, identify the top 3 to 5 skills for each role. What does excellence actually look like in that seat at that level? Write it down. Then, run your performance reviews against those skills. Your people cannot meet an expectation they were never told about. They need to understand exactly what's expected of them and how to level up. They don't know what lives in your head unless you communicate it. Number 4, determine the criteria for advancement. What does someone have to do to move up a rung and get a raise? And let me say this clearly because it's very important. Experience alone means nothing. Don't pay someone more just because they've been around longer. Time served is not the same thing as value created. A lot of experience being a poor performer is worthless. In some instances, someone with less experience may actually be more valuable because they have less baggage and you can train them how you want. Bottom line, to earn more, they have to materially outperform. And while you're here, let me just say something that might be a little controversial. Do not give cost of living adjustments. What? What your employees choose to spend their money on is not your problem to solve. Your job is to pay them the market rate for the value that they create. That's it. Don't train your employees just to expect to get a raise every year for no reason. That's bad business. So pay only goes up when one of two things happens, not because just another calendar year passed by. Number 1, the salary market has shifted. The role is now commanding a higher wage out in the real world. Or number 2, the employee has leveled up to the next rung in their career track. And that should be based on concrete criteria that you've set. What criteria do they need to meet? How do their responsibilities and skills have to grow? What target productivity or profitability do they need to hit within their pod? For production roles, look at the revenue and gross profit each position needs to generate. And for attorneys specifically, this is non-negotiable. New business originated, hours billed, key relationships owned. Production is a requirement for advancement, not a nice to have. And here's how I want you to think about it. Every attorney in your firm is a business unit, and every business unit needs to be profitable and needs to pull their own weight. Number 5, develop and share your pay scale. Once you've put it together, share it with the team. Educate the team on what it means. Make sure that they understand it and that you have very effectively communicated it, and use it regularly in your performance reviews and evaluations. This creates transparency and clarity among your team members around what's expected of them and how they can improve. Number 6, invest in the growth of your people. And this is where leadership, real leadership, happens. Rather than ducking and dodging the conversation and hoping they never ask about how much they're paid and what they need to do to get a raise, sit down with your employees and ask them point blank, hey, how much money do you want to make? And then have a frank, honest conversation about the path to get there. Treat it like a problem to solve. This isn't just a negotiation. People shouldn't be afraid to ask this question. Make it so that they are completely comfortable having this conversation with you. Treat it as a problem to solve rather than something to avoid. Okay, you want to make X amount of dollars? Here's what needs to happen to get there. Talk about the path that they need to take to get there. What does the business need to achieve? What can they do to contribute to it? And what do they need to accomplish? Don't shy away from these conversations. Lean into them. Ask the real questions. What are your career goals? Do you need more education? Do you need to build new skills? It is squarely in your best interests to develop the people you've already got. Now, let's go a little deeper on a couple things. In his book, Simple Numbers, Greg Crabtree advocates for something called open book management, which is something that we'll be digging into next quarter, so stay tuned. But essentially, it's the idea that you share the company's financial information with everyone. And this is a very good system, although if it's the first time you're hearing it, I understand it can sound a little scary. But Greg takes it a step further. And usually when I talk to people about open book management, I assure them it doesn't mean sharing all the details, but actually, in his book, Greg Crabtree takes it to that place. He shares individual salaries with everyone in the business. Wow. And I know that sounds terrifying, but here's what it actually does. And I'm not saying this is something that everyone should do and go out and do right away, because it could create some real problems. But once you've gotten there and you've developed a business where that's the expectation and that's just the way things are done around here, here's what it actually does for you. It kills rumors, it ends the speculation, and it builds accountability and trust, because everyone can see the system is fair. Everyone's paid a market-based wage. When everyone understands that everyone's paid a market-based wage, then it makes total sense. When pay is a secret and everyone's paid something different, people assume the worst, and it creates problems. When it's transparent, they can see exactly how they need to level up. They can see exactly how to win. The second thing I want to talk a little bit about is incentive plans. Because, business owners, we love to reach for these, and we think that they are going to be a magic bullet. Well, business is down. I'll just create an incentive plan and, people will bring in more business. Well, be careful. Throwing money at people is no substitute for actually leading them. In my experience, you can have the best incentives in the world, but you actually need to lead and educate and coach your people. People are not going to get better just because you gave them an incentive to get better. You have to show them how to get better. You have to teach them. You really do. You need to coach them, develop them, manage them. So before you design a bonus plan, put on that hat. Ask yourself, how can I develop this person? Become a teacher. Most people, it turns out, actually are not motivated by incentive plans the way you think they are. And if you do run bonuses, make them quarterly, not annually. Quarterly bonuses are tied closely enough to performance that people can actually feel the connection. And one more rule, and write this down. Don't ever promise an incentive you can't afford to pay, or you won't follow through on, because that is a recipe for disaster. And finally, let's talk about one more position in your firm and making sure that that position is getting paid a fair market wage. That's you, because you deserve to be paid a market-based wage too. Wow. Before any of this, make sure that you are compensating yourself appropriately. Not because you're greedy, but because you have to do that in order to run a successful business in the first place. If you skip that step, all your numbers will be lying to you. So here's your action step for this week. Start building your pay scale. Just start. What are the main positions in your firm? What are the levels within each track? What's the market-based pay range at each level? And what does someone have to do to earn it? You don't have to create the world's best, most comprehensive framework right away. Done is better than perfect. You just have to begin. Now, I do know a little bit about this because I've been in your shoes, and I've had to build this in my own business too. And I can tell you that this is one of the keys to building a business that creates profit on purpose, rather than profit by accident. Let's have salaries on purpose instead of salaries by accident. And this is exactly the kind of thing that we help law firm owners work through here at the Lawyer Millionaire. Our business advisory team is here to help you plan your next hire, develop the team you've got, and become the kind of leader that you are meant to be. So, if you want help getting started on your own pay scale, you can reach out to us, or we've also done some of the heavy lifting for you. Download our comprehensive law firm pay scale sample. In the show notes, you'll find the link. And if you got something out of today, do me a favor and leave us a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen. Well, that's it for today, friend. And remember one thing. If your law firm isn't building you wealth and freedom, well, what the hell are you doing? Can I get an amen out there? Now, go make it happen. And I'll see you next time.
Are you a law firm owner looking to build real wealth and break free from the daily grind? On the Lawyer Millionaire podcast, we share practical strategies to grow your practice, maximize profits, and create the financial freedom you deserve. Join host Darren Wurz as he interviews top experts and successful law firm leaders who share their secrets. Don't just practice law, build a legacy. Listen now to The Lawyer Millionaire wherever you get your podcast. The Lawyer Millionaire podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended as legal, tax, or investment advice. Listeners should consult with a qualified professional before making any financial or business decisions. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Darren Wurz or Lawyer Millionaire Wealth Advisors.